Hey guys, Doug here. I hope everybody's surviving their quarantine and heeding to all the authorities to their suggestions. And I just want to lighten things up and have a little positive to the day. We're just working with some babies here. This is Ben. He's coming a yearling. We brought him in for halter breaking. He's by our stud Shiny Playboy. And he's really green, and I thought I'd just show you some things to help you out if you're going to stay home, work with your horse, things that you can do that are effective, and basically set boundaries. We're real big on setting boundaries with everything we do with the horse, and it makes the finished product much easier. So if we have a horse that respects our space, that's number one. So having leadership is number one, and we haven't really had to teach them that because they were wild. These babies, we had to spend about 3 weeks just getting to the point we could touch them with just our hand. And he's only had the halter on him, I'd say 5 times. I'm probably stretching it there 4 or 5 times. And you know, it was very easy to get him to follow a feel, and that stuff's easy. But what I'm working on now, we're just out here in the obstacle course, and I'll just work on some boundaries of where I want him to be, and then I'll start approaching the obstacles so you can see how we're building confidence and establishing some boundaries of where he needs to be. So when I start turning the corner like this, he's following me pretty good. So I'm just going to start going in a circle here and just look for the opportunity to get him to pass me. So that's the very first thing I want to make sure is that he doesn't pass me. And because it's so new to him, you can see that's there. Like if I back up, he stays out of my way. I shouldn't have to see him. So that is, again, something we didn't have to teach him. And you'll find it's going to be something you might have to teach your horse. If he's been allowed to pass your shoulder for a while, he's going to try that. And that is leadership 101, folks. If they don't stay back behind your shoulder, then we're arguing with anything we try to get them to do, because the ultimate safe horse is one that's in control, not only when things are going good and when the environment's good. It's when the environment is not so good. When you're out on a trail and let's say you're on a trail ride with 5 or 6 other people and 4 or 5 of them take off running, and you want your horse to stand and walk. That's a lot to ask of a horse, but that's safety, and that's the reality of what we need to be thinking about when we're at this stage. And if we don't have the beginning steps and the boundaries associated or established, then how in the heck are we ever going to get it to happen when we're out on the trail in real life? So he's following me really good. I don't want to have to pull on him. I'm just going to kind of walk around here a little bit. You can see he leads up good. He don't hit the end of the rope. I don't have to do anything, but I'm waiting to see if he gets too close. If he nudges me with his nose, if I feel him nudge me. A lot of people say, oh, my horse is just loving on me, and it's a start. It's a start of him pushing you right there, right? So you just got to think like a horse a little bit. But the reason I know that's from patterns. When you watch a horse, when he starts nuzzling you with his nose, and you don't do anything about it, it gets worse. And I mean, you can test that for yourself, and it'll turn into a bite or a nuzzle. He'll start nuzzling on you a little bit, but if you grab him and correct him, and this is what I see people do a lot of times, they'll just grab him and correct him and put him back, and he does it again. And this is where we're starting to set a pattern of how do we correct a horse. If you look in the field and watch horses interact in the field, I find as people, we correct them the same every time. So it's really easy for that horse to find our limit of what we're going to do to correct him. But it's also very easy, because they're so good at reading patterns, it's very easy to show this horse each time he does something that's undesirable to us. The correction is movement. Like, you never want to jerk your horse. I see that quite often. People want to correct them with a jerk or a tap or a spank or anything you want to use there. And that is definitely not how you correct a horse. How you correct a horse is movement. And we learned that in the round pen, and that's what we teach. Like, if you watch this horse, when I start asking him to move, just watch his body there. See his body posture change? See how he dropped his head? So that's all you have to do to move a horse to correct him, is go to the point that he accepts the movement. You see he dropped his head and he's licking and chewing, so it can be that subtle. Now, I find most people, if you go too strong, if you grab him, start shanking on him and backing him up, his head's in the air and they stop backing him up. So it's not only what you do, it's how long you do it and when you quit. Right? I've really learned that more is less. I'm learning that from the video coaching that we're doing, the online training, is I'm getting more results from teaching people one lesson really, really well, as far as understanding horse psychology, than it used to be from the clinics and the live lessons we do, where we give people 3 or 4 lessons, because they always want a few more lessons. They get one figured out good, and it's time to go on to something else because the horse is kind of ready to do something else, but the rider I'm finding is not. I didn't realize that till we started doing video coaching, and it's pure to see. It's very clear to see that in order to understand how a horse thinks and how they read patterns and how the patterns is changing them, how they read you and how you read them, there's enough to learn in one lesson to almost hang out there for a week, maybe 2 weeks. It's probably safe to say that I could stick to one lesson for 2 months, and there would still be lots to learn. It's really life-changing stuff on how to interact with a horse, because like he's getting bored here now, so you'll just watch it. He's never been down to the obstacle course here. It's his first time. So you'll see how I handle each new thing, and then we'll go to the trailer as well. So when I start walking to this concrete here, I'm going to walk like I just expect him to go up on it, and I got slack in the line, so wherever I feel slack in the line, I stop. Whoa, good one. That was big. That was big. I expected him to stop, but he was so confident that he just walked right up there. A lot of you won't believe that that's the first time he's gone on there, but Sid is my camera girl. She can attest to that. We just barely walked down here. We just decided to do a video because it's a nice, beautiful day out here, and we want to take our mind off the quarantine and the virus and all the things going on in the world. Okay, so I'm going to approach it at this angle right here. So I'm just going to walk up on here and just see what he does. If I feel a little slack in the line, right there's when I'll stop and just see what he does right there. Now, if he's checking it out, yeah, so he's kind of done. So it's important right now that I don't encourage him. Come a little closer, Sid. That I don't encourage him to go up on there right now because he stopped. So that's his comfort zone, and that's how he can read a pattern. It's how I'm going to be able to read a pattern in him. It's important what I do compared to what he does, because then him and I are on the same page. If we come up to an obstacle or a trailer or water or whatever the case may be, and this horse, there's 2 reasons he won't go up there. One will be dominance, or one will be genuine fear. So if it's dominance, I don't want to be building confidence, and if it's genuine fear, I don't want to be dealing with it as his dominance. So dominance just means he don't see you as the leader, and that's clear to see in many cases where he already showed us that he don't see us as the leader because he stays behind us. If I back into him, he yields. It's as simple as that. That's the clearest test. It's a no fail-proof way to see if your horse sees you as a leader, because people say, oh, my horse sees me as a leader, and you watch that and like, sorry, it's not what you say, it's what your horse says. So the second time I can see a pattern. He's either going to get closer or he's going to stop farther away. Now if it stays the same, now I can start encouraging him a little bit. So when I just take the slack out of the line, and this is what I find, ooh, nice. See how I just took the slack out of the line? I find a lot of people, they want to pull and get too greedy. Nice, he stepped up there on his own. So that's all I needed out of him. He built his own confidence right there just from me staying real still. So I'm not going to challenge him to come all the way up here. It's a pretty big obstacle. It's going to be scary. I'm going to reward him by taking him away, so that I'm showing him I'm never going to approach any obstacle when he's afraid. And the only way I can build confidence is bite-sized pieces. Keep taking him away. And he's going to be a good one to show confidence, because he isn't, like I said, he sees me as a leader. He hasn't had enough time for me to contaminate him into thinking he's a leader. And babies, size doesn't matter when it comes to horses. I've seen little teeny babies and mini horses take over the whole herd. So I'm just going to approach this other obstacle over here. It's a pretty good sized log. I'll just step over it and see what happens. I like to kind of mix them up and he made improvement from that last obstacle, so I'll just take another one. Again, I don't look back at him. I'm feeling this line. The line kind of it didn't come tight, but it took the slack out of the line. So I just held. So I'm going to look and see where he's at. Oh, he came on his own. Oh, good boy. I was just going to take him away and go make another approach at it. So I didn't expect it to go this well. I thought I could show more stuff, but we got another baby I can try bring out here and see how that happens. Because the same thing works. I find, folks, if you've got a few important vital steps on your horse, which is what we teach, I find that's lacking the most. When you got just a few really key steps, everything else gets easy. And that's what we teach at the clinics. And I find people are really blown away by this, you know, how far their horse comes at a clinic, but then they go away and then things start falling apart. And they try to do the lesson the way what they remember from the clinic, but it's just not quite the same. And you'll see if you watch YouTube, there's thousands of how-to videos on there. But I know lots of people say they watch all them videos, but it's not evident in their horsemanship. It's because it's not that easy. It's and basically that you can't teach all the whens, you can teach what to do, but you can't teach for how long, and you can't teach when to quit and go on. And you know, every horse is, ooh, I'm just going to let him go. He just, ooh, did you see him learn right there? That was some of the best learning there was right there, just me standing talking to you and letting him figure it out. You good boy.